This combination is a powerful one because it allows us to buy time. Now, if you've been following me, my name is Anindita Rumta. I am a functional medicine certified health coach and a functional medicine practitioner. And I help spread awareness about autoimmune conditions, in particular chronic illnesses, using a root cause body friendly approach. And you will hear me all the time talking about how it's so important to address root causes, using non without using medications, in terms of the diet, in terms of supplements, and of course other things like stress management, sleep, etc. But I think what gets lost is what I'm going to discuss today: why often a combination of conventional medicine, which is medications and treatments, and functional medicine, which is what I was just talking about, is so powerful. And many times, if you're dealing with severe chronic illnesses like autoimmune conditions, like my clients, then usually this combination, is really effective, because one or the other may not be enough. So I'm going to share with you three reasons why this is so. But if you know somebody who's dealing with any kind of chronic illness, in particular autoimmune conditions, and who's struggling to figure out what is it that they can do, they are trying to, of course, they are going through the treatments, but they may not be aware that they also should pursue figuring out why they have this disease in the first place, and what are the major factors below this disease progression. On the other hand, certainly know of people who've been battling, who've been dealing with severe symptoms because of their chronic condition. I remember one person in particular who had I think ulcerative colitis, a very painful condition, but he refused to take medications for 2 years, till things progressed to the extent that his doctors told him, either you do something about it, you take some medication, or things will just deteriorate very fast. And he was forced to take the medications, but by which time the tissue, the tissue and the organ damage was quite severe. So, which is why I am an advocate of not only focusing on natural treatments all the time for all particular cases. Of course, if you're at the very cusp of autoimmunity, in particular, when we are sort of not really dealing with much damage, but there's a probability that you can develop autoimmune conditions, that's actually the right time to take certain preventive measures like diet, etc. But if you're already dealing with an entrenched disease, then you may not have that luxury, and you would probably go in for some kind of medication and treatments, which will allow you to buy you time. So, which brings me to what I'm discussing today. So if you know somebody who's dealing with this, who's confused and not sure what they should be doing, then make sure that you share this video, because it will help them to understand what's going on, and possibly what steps they should be taking, what approach they should be taking, more importantly. So the three reasons I'm going to share with you today. So the first reason that I want to share with you is that it prevents having this combination. So wherein you might be already dealing with a severe chronic illness. Let's take the example of autoimmune conditions. So there are a lot of symptoms that you're already facing. The most common symptoms that people face are chronic pain and severe exhaustion when the disease is really entrenched. So in those cases, taking medications allows us to prevent provide symptomatic relief, actually provide symptomatic relief, while you figure out what are the other steps that you can take to reverse the reverse the chronic illness, reverse the disease, reverse the symptoms. So the first reason is that it allows you to allows you to buy time, so that, and give you some kind of relief. Because if you're in constant pain, if you're so fatigued that you can't even think or even move from one place, honestly, just by giving you handouts or giving you information is not really going to work. You will need to take some medication, find some sort of relief, so that you can then go on to take the steps that are necessary to maybe create a new meal plan, take off gluten from your diet. Food is always where we start. So all the things that are required, but which is going to take some time to see results. Of course, when we start making dietary changes, you will find that you will start seeing results right almost from the beginning. But the actual major improvements do take time. So, a disease that has progressed over decades is not going to go away in a few months. However, we know we are on the right track when we see more and more symptoms reducing and find more relief. But in the beginning, it is often helpful, especially in the case of severe illness, when you're already dealing with an entrenched disease, to find some symptomatic relief, which can only come from medications. Of course, it can be there are other ways to also sometimes get that. I do use food and other supplements sometimes to find that, but that's not always the only not may or may not be effective. It depends on person to person. And of course, when we are dealing with any severe illness, we want to also have an option, not an option, but we also want to have the right approach, which can be a combination of both. And it is helpful in the short run. So again, medications and treatments that I'm talking about right now is usually helpful in the short run while we're trying to figure out what should be we should be doing to sort of address this at a root cause. The second point that I want to share with you is that it prevents further tissue damage. Right? Sometimes you need medications. Again, this is usually for more severe forms of illness where it's been going on for a while, that you don't want further tissue damage in the long, continuing tissue damage, because it usually takes time for people to understand what changes they need to make, what are the things that they need to do, how to clean out their kitchen, get the foods that they should start stocking up on. All these things take time, and everyone moves at their own pace. So I can't, when I work with my coaching clients, women with autoimmune conditions, I can't really force anybody to start doing things from day one. Some people do, some people don't. So while they're doing that, sometimes it is helpful that if they are facing severe chronic illness like an autoimmune condition, then they can, the medications can prevent further tissue damage. As I mentioned, there an extreme example is of somebody who had one of these conditions and did not take medications for 2 years, but neither did he know what else he should be doing in terms of what foods, in terms of other aspects of the three things that we look at: food, toxins, and stress. And so the disease continued unabated, simply because he was not willing to take the medications. These medications have side effects. These medications have can lead to further complications. I'm talking about immunosuppressive drugs and oral steroids. So what happens is that it suppresses the entire immune system, leading to downstream infections, etc., and a host of other issues. So all that, of course, is why I practice functional medicine, why I take a root cause approach. But at the same time, sometimes we do need a combination. It's not true in all cases, but this combination can be a really powerful one for some people. The third is that we often get the best of both worlds. Again, so while we are figuring out what is the best course of action, while we are putting in place things which will help improve our gut health, because at the root, for example, at the root of autoimmunity, you have three main things: where you have a weak and imbalanced immune system, where you have enhanced intestinal permeability, which it takes time to address because you will typically have poor gut health, which includes a microbial imbalance which is occurring, and that takes time to sort out, that takes time to bring back into balance. So while you are doing that, you're getting the best of the conventional field, which is more of a short to medium term kind of a solution, and you have the long term approach where you have you know uh, lifestyle and dietary changes which will help you to get well and to stay well in the future. But in the meantime, for some people, it may make sense to be on medications, to not be scared of them. If you are able to get a good doctor who's able to guide you, it can help you to stem further damage and give you the energy and give you the drive needed to make those changes so that you can see long term health creation. Because in the in the short run, you might be feeling so fatigued, so overwhelmed, and so much in pain that you may not have the energy or the wherewithal to actually make any changes. And in that kind of a scenario, it's very easy to give up. So in many cases, this combination of conventional and functional medicine can be really powerful, where conventional medicine is for more of a short to medium term approach, whereas functional medicine is taking you on a healing journey, and it's for the rest of your life, right? So this powerful combination is really effective. It may not apply to everyone, as I mentioned, that if it's somebody who's just about starting on this autoimmune spectrum, where the disease progression has not really taken place to a large extent, they've just started on that, then maybe just following a functional medicine root cause body friendly approach is can be enough. But for some others, where the disease has been going on for a very long time, it may not be. So again, in functional medicine, we always take a personalized approach. One size does not fit all, so it depends on where you are on the autoimmune spectrum, right? But at the end of the day, one thing that I would like to leave you with is that it depends on you, it depends on what your body needs, which is why I call the approach that I take with my clients a body friendly approach, or a body better approach, wherein we go with what your body needs. We tune into your body's wisdom to understand what your body needs, not just going by the test, not just going by the medications, not just going by what any experts say, including myself, but more about what your body is letting you know through symptoms. If you tune in, if you tune in enough, and frequently we know how to listen to the messages. The messages are usually in the form of symptoms, but you will know when whether you're on the right path or not. So that's what I want to leave you with, that this combination of functional medicine, of conventional medicine, can be a really powerful and effective one in many cases where uh, you know we want to prevent further tissue damage, and this allows us to buy us some time while we figure out what's really gone wrong, and address those imbalances, address those deficiencies, otherwise which otherwise would not be possible, because if you're in so much pain and you're severely exhausted, you don't have the energy or the motivation to do anything. So it's kind of a best of both worlds. So if so that's where I want to leave you with today. If you know of somebody who's dealing with chronic illnesses like autoimmune conditions, and who's in a sort of dilemma as to which path they should be taking, maybe they need to hear this. Maybe it's one, maybe functional medicine will sort of work with them if they are right at the very beginning, or maybe they will need to have a combination of this. It depends on where they are, right? So, and I will see you again soon.